Alright, and we're going to be jumping into second half of the day. 4 more games left here. We're going to have C9 Gaming up against Beyond Gaming in this matchup here. Go ahead and get some things adjusted. Yep, should be ready to go here. So, since MSI actually, C9 has had a pretty decent struggle of trying to get themselves together. There's been a lot of contention or a lot of discussion around whether or not the mid-jungle duo of Blabber and Perks, which a lot of us thought was going to be a powerhouse once we were seeing Perks coming over from G2 over in the LEC. But it's been less than favorable. Blabber, an instinctual player, getting pretty aggressive at some times, getting a little too scuttle happy back at MSI. And Perks, likely very used to being played around by certain junglers such as Yankos or Trick back in the day. So it has been a good hope, or at least a decent hope for NA fans, that Cloud9 has been able to sort out these problems, get themselves on the same page. Smiles on their players' faces should be good for inspiring confidence there. So I think they're should be looking good and ready to go for this. Beyond Gaming, though, on the other side, trying to secure their second spot in this play-ins group to get themselves into the group stage with the champions of their league over at PSG Talent. So let's see what these teams are going to put together to keep their winning ways going here. Need to actually look and see what their winning streaks are on each side. I believe at this point Cloud9 is still undefeated in the few games that they've had, beating Dead Nation Focus Me yesterday. And Beyond Gaming has yet to get a win. Apparently they lost recently. Who did they lose to earlier? Alright. They lost actually to the Turkish team, Galatasaray. Alrighty, so let's go on and jump on into this ban and draft phase here. Aphelios, Lucian, ban on the side of C9, and the Rise ban. Kind of taking that away from himself, but that'll be good. Limit Moan's ability to affect around the map and be a high damage output. Again, this MF is going to be picked up. The bans coming out from Beyond Gaming. Going to have the LeBlanc, Kiana, and Irelia banned away. Irelia kind of a ban really against Perks. He's actually had some good historical flexes on it, but the Lee Sin is kept up and available, so C9 seems actually easily predicting that Beyond Gamer were not going to first pick that, although it's been a very Lee Sin's been a very highly contested pick in this play-in stage. And instead they're going to secure their bot lane, getting Ezreal for Sven. And are they going to grab the support for them as well? And it's probably going to be the Leona. Leona been the classic pairing with this misfortune, trying to secure a lot of CC, get people locked down, get them in range at the bullet time to really shred and blow them up. The ban for the Kiana on the side of Beyond Gaming is kind of suspicious because that could be very scary on Blabber with his knack and his aggressive tendencies, but it's also a major setup tool to really put a bunch of people into the wall, get a lot of people locked down so that Doggo would be able to actually really shred them apart with that bullet time. But we're going to have Graves locked in here. Not sure if it's going to be a jungler or a top laner. There's been a lot of word out of the Church of LS for the power of Graves as a solo laner. We did see it earlier here in play-ins, but not to a significant amount of success. Kind of left on an island. Wasn't really played around too much in that game. Amumu locked in as well, has been the other bread and butter to pair with the Morgana. The Curse of the Sad Mummy, able to lock down multiple targets after getting a nice binding from the bandages. So pretty good team fighting setup here. A lot of AD damage, a little bit of AP damage so far, and this is kind of leaving a lot of questions in the air of what Beyond Gaming want to secure for the rest of it. The Lee Sin finally picked up there for Blabber, which should be a fantastic pick on him. He is a mechanical monster. And let's see what these boys want to actually ban out here. Yeah, Blabber should have. So let's play extension there. And so Blabber on this pick, he should be able to actually keep this character relevant throughout the game. And there should be a lot of agency sort of following him, a lot of plays following Blabber's aggression on this character, because he should be able to actually get a lot of setups, interrupt Doggo when he's trying to actually get those channels, and really set up C9 to really win these team fights. Kennan's going to be banned out, so getting rid of more of that AoE lockdown, because if it's a Curse of the Sad Mummy on top of a bullet time, on top of a slicing maelstrom that should be a very easily won team fight. The gangplank being taken away from Fudge, and that's actually a very good respect ban over to Fudge. Gangplank, not his absolute strongest top laner, but definitely a top laner that could put a lot of hurt onto the immobile carry of Misfortune and really provide a stable top lane. So they might actually be trying to pivot themselves, take away some good options. Gwen gonna be banned out as well. So a lot of top lane focus here in the second ban phase. Really trying to set Liang up and Fudge up for success. Get rid of picks that they don't want to take into the match, or picks that they don't want to deal with. And the Camille's going to be banned out. So Camille, good all-in potential, really could give the Graves a lot of trouble. So I really think they're actually doing a lot of good work here to really set up this Graves to actually be a top laner. Because there's not too many. It's not a very clear set of what they would want to have in their jungle to actually really round this out here. The Lilia was actually coming to mind here. A lot of good AP damage, a lot of good mobility. Just layering the CC, layering what this team can do for just locking down characters and really trying to blow them up. Because two major team fight sources of CC here with the sleep on the Lilia and then the Curse of the Sad Mummy on the Amumu. But this is leaving a big question in the air of what's going to be in the solo lane. What's going to be in mid lane or top lane right now? The Aatrox being hover, that's usually a top lane pick. Perkso on the other side, didn't miss it, but the Silas has been picked up by Perks and could go to Fudge. It is a top lane, it can be a top or a mid lane pick, but it's mostly been on Perks. He's had hard carry performances on this before, and Yone picked up for Mayon on the side of Beyond Gaming. So very spicy pick here. Have seen a lot of bans of the Yone against Chovy over in Group A, but have yet to see it pick or played in this. And this is actually pretty huge right here. Fudge picks up the Malphite, which ask LS, and this is actually a very busted pick here. He's countering out a large percentage of the damage on the side of Beyond Gaming. And the only way this actually ends up getting countered if Liang actually takes the Lilia top, which looks to be what's happening here. We're going to see if they're going to maintain these positions, maintain these picks here right now. But this is a very smart pick here for Fudge here. It's just the only thing that can really, yeah, I think that's going to be a Graves in the jungle and a Lilia in the top lane. So this is actually going to really punish Fudge's pick, at least for the beginning part of this game here. So can be troublesome. Can be troublesome because Malphite's kit is really built to counter out a lot of physical damage. His armor scales him up with his damage. His shield is effective health and can just absorb all that. His engage should be able to just lock out and just neutralize any attempt MF has to really put down an ultimate. It's just, will Beyond Gaming be able to actually really pin down and make this rock way too squishy and mushy to where it's just going to be more of a muddy pick than a really solid decision here for Cloud9. And it is kind of a good question. It's a very creative adjustment in the drafting and in where the positions of these characters are going. It's a very good flex out of Beyond Gaming to hold on to that Graves, because it could go top lane, could go jungle, could even go mid lane. But they wait to actually see the rest of C9's draft, and they make this adjustment. The big question is, has Liang actually put a lot of time in on this Lilia to really punish Fudge's melee pick here? Because Lilia should be able to get a lot of procs on her Q and really just dance around Malphite. And looks like we're looking for a little bait here. Yeah, level 1 bunch up. We're looking for some fun. Looking for someone to step a little too far forward. Zenith Blade available. Plenty of flashes. Yeah, no special summoners here. Yep. A lot of fun. We have yet to see any like really heavy invades. There hasn't been a lot of level 1 interactions or level 1 fights so far in these plays. Everyone's been pretty neutral, pretty passive, pretty keeping it standard. Looking for more defensive setups like those stacks. We've seen those a few times, but always keeping it fresh, available. Looking for those little edges. And Mon's gonna actually step in. Based on a ward here, so they'll be able to see.
Moan going and dropping a ward. Doing what they can, and of course, don't forget down the bottom of your screen, our feature matchup presented by Mercedes is and don't adjust your sets. Yes, we understand these players aren't in the same lane, but it is Doggo versus Fudge, which I think if you're looking at keys to success for these teams, that is definitely the places you look to for these two.
I mean, you've heard it all weekend so far by the analyst desk about how important Doggo is to Beyond Gaming. He is kind of the big key player for them. This is Doggo's team, as you often hear it talked about, and so they want to get him going a little bit more. Yesterday it ended up being a lot about the top side, which is not really where Beyond wanted to play through, I think. They did have the Jarvan for maybe some counter picks or counter games that would have gone up there, but the snowball started way before Jarvan hit 6. So here, they have the Lily again and will kind of make it about the top side, but MF and Amumu have so much all-in potential. I expect them to try and make some more plays here for Doggo.
Yeah, definitely curious to see how the 2v2 shakes out. Should feel a little comfy here, even against his beloved Ezreal. Sven, obviously a very good pilot for that champion as well, but we'll have to likely respect a lot of the pressure, as Moen here in the mid lane up against Perks, as you mentioned, also should feel pretty comfy in this matchup. Silas's shield only goes so far and only against mages, so he's going to feel pretty good here.
Yeah, it should be a pretty free lane phase. I feel like the Silas was maybe a bit of a call-out, thinking that, Perks can kind of just take this champion. It's very strong right now in the current meta, but usually you do kind of see it more as a response to the counter pick. You see something with like a TF, which is what you most often pick it into, not a strong laning phase, and then you kind of get the free 6 by him and just grab that ults from all around the map. A lot harder to do versus Yone.
Well, savage Q there from Leon here, Fudge. Feeling the pain here in topside, does ding 3, eats the swell seed though, and only has 1 charge left on the corrupting potion, so not a lot left in the tank to try and play with, as Perks is trying to trade back here up against the Yone, but again, he's out of mana. Yone doesn't use mana, and Perks only has 1 potion charge left. So this, even that Biscuit is going to have to work pretty hard to keep Perks up in his 1v1 early on.
Yeah, some mana issues that you're going to see them come into here a little bit. Expect a lot of early TPs by C9. Blabber going to be happy to be able to grab this Scuttle Crab, though, playing a little bit more towards the bot side, and Vulcan being able to help protect and grab that one.
Kusha's on the other side, of course. Graves, as you said, has not been particularly common in the metagame throughout this year, at least in our observations in North America. But hasn't changed much, you don't have to worry. I still wants to farm up a Storm.
Yeah, and I actually think it's a great time to have Graves in this draft, at least in terms of from the Graves perspective. We'll have to see how all these champions synergize together. We talked about the big Wombo potential, but at the very least, you have 2 pushing solo lanes. That's going to make it very easy to find priority, find invade, steal camps away from the Lee Sin. You see that's exactly what Hush is doing, wanting to use this advantage, make it uncomfortable. We'll see if C9 can collapse onto this, but this is the game plan for Beyond.
Blabber smoked that Crocdo Fudge now here. They're going to collapse. Hush in trouble. Blabber already dealing a lot of damage. Leah going in there trying to spin the branch around, but it's Blabber that finds first blood. No. And Leon's on the menu for second, and it's a tragedy. Mark C as Fudge takes the second kill.
Cloud9 collapse instantly onto that Krug invade by Husha. Blabber does not land the initial Q, but follows up very quickly. Fudge gets the inside track on that collapse, and that's the big reason why. Action's not over though. Vulcan roam. Vulcan
at it again on the Leona. Mid lane here is going to force a flash, and Perks feels real good about that roam.
Oh god, I was just talking about the game plan for Beyond, the priority lanes that they're going to have, making it easy for the Graves to invade, and right away, Cloud9 probably identifies that, and they are on the same page about how to, kind of throw a wrench in that game plan. Get Vulcan out of the bot lane. It's Ezreal. He's going to be fine on an island. Go burn and flash mid. Top side, instantly collapse. It doesn't matter what's happening in lane. Fudge, get over here and protect my camp was punish Husha. And the fact that they chunk him down to about 25% HP before Liang is able to get involved in this play, you can see how this 2v2 easily could have been won by Beyond Gaming if he was able to get there a little bit faster. But it was just a really deep invade by the Graves, and Blabber and Fudge are on the same page, and that's what makes them such a fearsome 2v2 on the top side, is that they are really aggressive, and when they say, hey, we can kill this Graves, they go for it.
Yeah, nice to the opposite side, right? Usually Fudge is the one pushing in, and then Blabber's diving. This time it's defending the jungle invade. But the result is the same for Cloud9. Up 600 gold now, they got the first 2 kills. Fudge's CS not feeling too hot, so this Lilia counter pick definitely working out early on despite the death. But obviously the gold deficit's going to be massively shortened by that kill and assist gold that Fudge has picked up. So things feeling pretty good, but Beyond Gaming not done. Now it's a 3v3 brewing here in the mid lane as Kino has roamed up here on the Amumu. Vulcan level 4, also at the ready. Perks going in for it. But again, staying respectful now. Can see one, steals the ulti, gets it going, and Vulcan takes down Moen, and now going back in as Blabber is going to find the Nexus. Kino trying to get the kill. Doggo flashes in, gets the auto attack, and takes down Perks. And now Cloud9 in a 2v3 they don't really fancy. Blabber going to have to dash on out of there with the safeguard.
Okay, so bit of a, 1-for-1 there in the mid lane. A nice collapse by Doggo, showing one of the advantages of the Misfortune with that pushing potential. It's also her passive in the strut, allowing her to follow up on these plays, match the Amumu roam. Very funny. Amumu's like, hey guys, I'm here to help. Perks is like, no, you're here to give me an ultimate.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I need to get this kill. Able to find that one initially, but then with the additional support of Doggo, turns it back around. So 1-for-1, I think pretty happy for both teams getting some of that gold onto Doggo, but Perks also making a nice play here.
Yeah, stealing a moonwalk's pretty satisfying, especially if the move is level 3.
As soon as he shows his face, I feel like you hear like Perks just salivate. Like he just instantly yoinks that ultimate. He's like, all right, let's go.
Combining off.
Kino here, really nice job setting that up for Doggo, kind of finding the healthiest or the lowest health target,
maximizing what he can do
and making sure they actually do secure a kill there. Not overly focused on peeling back and trying to protect the Graves, just knowing that he'll be fine.
Oh, Kino,
does not know that there's actually an invade going on here. He's gonna flash and hit the blast cone to save his life.
The blast cone, and Mumu's safe for now, but under attack here at level 4 on the support.
Yeah, I mean, Cloud9 are looking for their fight, so they grab
kind of
them,
a roaming death squad
trying to get
there.
that red buff invade off. Overall, a nice play there, even though they don't get the red buff to force the flash out of Kino. Really heads up play by him to have the awareness that, hey, this blast cone here, flash auto that, get out of there, but does limit some of that playmaking that I was saying they probably want at level 6 around the bot side here, and trying to find some kills for Doggo.
Yeah, like a lot of, kind of classic League of Legends champions, you're often only as good as your ultimate. And a movement obviously only being level 4. Severely drained of XP from the support position. Going to be a while before Kino has that going. That being said, there are plenty of ways for Beyond Gaming to enable this comp. As you mentioned, they kind of have, a combo for every single champion on the team. They even have like a backup MF ult with Grave Salt in case, Doggo's not around. But if they can find the setup, it is not difficult for Beyond Gaming to scale any sort of skirmish into a full-on 5v5 team fight if they land the right engage.
Right, I mean, even Moen can start these fights out with the Yone ultimate just going flying in there, and you throw the damage over the top, and like, hey, hopefully someone dies instantly, and then you're fighting a 4v5 from there. And their team is pretty scrappy. A lot of these champions do really well, kiting out not just the Yone, but Graves and Lilia have tremendous kiting potential. And so while the initial fight was going to start with a big burst of damage trying to instantly annihilate someone, they do have the ability to kite some situations out. So Cloud9 are going to have to be careful about re-engaging and not face planning.
Already got his name quiver, but
right, well, looks like some,
the axe and the sheen on the Ezreal, so he is on his way to more than likely
the rest of that vision. There is a ward in the back of the pit, so Cloud9 do know what's happening. Vulcan going to confirm that by tapping the plant there and getting the Sky's Bloom vision.
Making an aggressive play here. Perks is survived, but there's not much else that really can be done here. Barrage is going to hit one, but Hush is going to be able to catch this. He's got the eye, but now Vulcan wants in here. He's going to get onto the Harsha, and here comes the bullet time, but Fudge is going to have to flash out here. He goes forward. Sleep's going to hit only onto him here, but this fight here out from C9 is looking really rough, and I don't know if they knew. I don't think they knew who was available for this fight. I thought they were going to try to just get a pick, but all of BYG able to show up and be present for this impending fight. So very questionable play there out of C9. A little bit too aggressive and just not calculating for that bullet time to be available just to counter the aggression. There's that choke there, and really kind of set them up for trouble.
Beyond Gaming did a really good job grabbing that Rift Herald and actually coming ahead and kills.
Oh, let me see. What was that item called?
Again, that ulti not good enough for the seal, but Cloud9, as you said, still commit to this one.
Yeah, and they want to punish Kushu after
I'm going to go through with this. Vulcan goes on in here, but there's not a lot of armor left on him.
Great, yes, you actually can. But from here, you can spend all your resources on killing the Grave. The Yone is running
wild pretty much untouched throughout the course of that
fight. Same with Leon and Doggo as well. The main key carries, because there's so many threats on this team comp, are actually not comboed at all with that initial engage by Cloud9. And the entire time would be nice if you had Sven doinking people over the top with Ezreal, but he just wasn't there. Yeah, instead it's, two melee champions that have to commit into the backline, and of course that leads to Cloud9 having an uneven trade. Still up 400 gold, but Beyond Gaming keeping this game very close. And I think given how the setup went, and definitely given how poorly that initial topside invade went for them, losing 2 kills there kind of feels like doom for a Graves that is aggressively invading, but Beyond Gaming have done a great job kind of riding the ship. It's actually Doggo already up with a Kraken Slayer. That's going to be the build of choice here for this one. So tons of auto attack DPS from this Misfortune. And again, if Doggo has free time with his team locking people up and he can shoot them, MF does plenty of damage. It's definitely a game where, I feel like the MF builds, I like seeing the variety that they have had so far. In this game, there's multiple frontline tanks that you're going to be hitting. The Leona, the Malphite are all people you want to actually have a little bit higher DPS for, not just rely on a burst of damage or something if you're going the more lethality-oriented build. So I do like seeing the Kraken Slayer here. There's enough threats on the rest of the team, like I said, that hey, maybe, C9 blows all their damage because they have to stop the Yone. And then you're allowed to free fire with the Kraken Slayer on these people while they've dove into your team. So I do really like this build from him, and he has the cleanse to kind of protect himself a little bit from the initial engage as well.
And of course, Ghostblade done for Husha as well. I guess this is one of the Ghostblade junglers we didn't consider, but definitely fits the bill. Graves more than happy to have some lethality. Goldrinker though done for Blabber. And I'm very curious what Fudge is going for here. That's a lost chapter hanging out, but might just be an item to bridge you in the laning phase.
Yeah, it might just be for poke. We'll see if he actually wants to build a mythic item off the get bat like that. We'll see. I suspect that you're right, though, that this is just for some cute poke, because that's the main way that you're going to be dealing with the Lily on lane phase.
All right, well, so far so good for Beyond Gaming, despite, again, being down a couple hundred gold. Grabbing that first dragon for themselves. Still have that Herald. Husha actually ready to drop it at a moment's notice. Ven, pretty obvious target, even though his tower's pretty healthy. He is completely isolated as Vulcan has been out of the lane for a pretty significant portion of this game. But as you said before, it is Ezreal. He's pretty safe, and Cloud9 have done a pretty good job of, you know, making Sven aware that, hey, no one's here, don't die.
Yeah, and I think it's been a weird game coming into it with the flex of the Lillians for the top side. You know, Cloud9 have kind of ended up with 3 lower priority lanes, and to have a gold lead through 15 feels good for them. But the scaling is also one of these ones where, like, it's kind of whoever plays cleaner wins the team fight. A lot of squishy targets, a lot of engage, a lot of burst potential. You know, and there is some 1-3-1 aspect for multiple team comps here. If Yone gets really fed, you can kind of split them off. Same with the Silas. So I think the team comps actually match up in terms of what they want to do in the game plan fairly evenly. And a lot of this will actually just come down to, like, okay, who actually started the fight better? Who flashed that key skill shot?
All right, well, we have gotten an answer to a question of what is Fudge building, and it is Everfrost.
Aha.
So now the question is, what's the next item? Because this one actually makes sense. Like, there are some AP ratios on Malphite. Additional CC and slows does match up with what you want to do, but how deep are we going?
I mean, maybe he is going full AP Malphite. You know, I don't want to count it out quite yet. There are other frontline members on his team. I think sometimes if you're the only one and you're doing the AP build, I'm going to be like, you're trolling, sir. You should not be doing that. Your team needs engage. But with Leona and Lee Sin, you know, Goredrinker, pretty solid frontline overall. Maybe you do want to commit harder into the insta-blow somebody up game plan, which this will be better at, as well as providing a little bit of extra CC. It shouldn't be, you know, understated how much that can help.
Whoa, Vulcan actually finding one! Not quite a one-shot just yet. Graves pretty tanky, but not nearly tanky enough as Fudge that picks up the kill.
Oh, Husha, what item were you looking at? What looks so good that you had to just let Vulcan basically walk into range for the Q to start that out, and gave up a free kill there. Unfortunate. Bit of a punish there. Having a slightly rough game for Husha so far. Let's see Sven doing the same thing. Potentially with a face check. Nice shift out.
Yeah, different champions. Definitely not created equal. Graves and Ezreal.
Also had his window in front of his face. Yep. I was actually watching the game.
Not in the shop, hanging out. Already has the Trinity Force, so doesn't need to look at the shop. Good to go here. Definitely picking up the DPS slack. Not going to be Sunder this time, which makes sense again. Cloud9 do need a consistent damage source. Ven is easily going to be that source in this game, and double Everfrost here for Cloud9. So I think, you know, from the perspective of, hey, we have to, like, kill a single key member, this actually does line up well, right? Between Lilia and MF and Yone, those are all champions you can reasonably pick up in a short period of time, and all champions that Beyond Gaming kind of need to get something going.
I mean, even Graves, if he does not have tons of stacks of true grid up, you can blow him up really easily. So I think there's a plethora of targets for them to go for. So I totally understand that. As we see, an attempt there. I like this. Both teams already swapping to the AD carries mid. Even though the turrets haven't dropped, usually you kind of wait to see the map open up a little bit more. I think from a power level of the champions, you know, Level 11 on Yone is a great time to start splitting away, and so, you know, they put him down there, allow him to get that turret gold.
Oh, goodness, that's a very long range start there for Keto. Bandage shot does find him up, but Sven forced to cleanse out and shift away. Does get ignited, but he's okay. Little worse for wear, but Beyond Gaming still on the assault here, looking for maybe Rip Turret number 2. Of note, they did get the bottom tower as well. They actually got the first turret gold, so picked up a slight gold lead for themselves, basically just taking away the little lead that Cloud9 had for themselves. But Cloud9 once again find themselves around the Herald, and unfortunately this time, not even going to poke the Ezreal ult in there.
Yeah, not trying to contest this time after Sven got chunked out so hard, so I like this decision. And it also was better this time because they didn't, you know, have someone collapsing. You know, they just kept perks on the bot side the entire time, so he was able to grab some XP for himself, deny some of this minion wave, get a big chunk of turret damage down here, and make use of the fact that they didn't really have the opportunity to contest anyways. It would have been way worse if he showed up and just kind of hung out mid before going back bot lane.
Yeah, instead just gonna
Too much
go back,
damage coming
reset,
out.
and then
from
go
the
back to mid as you said. Continue to try and
You
siege
know, on
that
the
up.
other side,
Fudge is a little bit all
Young
over.
Gaming
This
have a
is,
bunch of damage.
it's
Fully up.
definitely a game where
Basically,
keeping
their
track of,
AP carry. Here
ultimate
comes from
ranks
the
is
top
pretty
side.
important. They're all,
Contested
again,
engage.
very high
Incredible
impact ultimates
movement speed and
across
mobility
both
when
these
she
teams.
gets
As
her,
Barbara is currently
her procs
shadowing
up.
Fudge, making sure no one else
The
is
Graves
safe,
is
but
going to
there is no
be
one else.
a melee range AD carry as well.
Looks
He's
like they'll
building
go
his
back in,
mythic
line up
right
their
now
next
after
play.
having
There is a
the
dragon
Ghost
up in
Blade as
15
his first
seconds.
item.
Beyond already
And then
grabbed the
Yona
first,
is
so Cloud9
a
wanna equalize
huge
they
late
can.
game
But
damage
there's no
carry.
need to rush if you don't want
So
to, but it does seem like
it feels like there's actually a timer on Cloud9 from what I could see to try to actually get more done. I'm curious who's misreading this right now.
I don't know if Cloud9 want to fight this dragon. It's not the do or die kind of situation quite yet. Beyond Gaming do feel very powerful.
So second Drake coming up. It's going to be an Ocean Drake.
Timer, so
Vulcan trying to play screen, or at least play the living ward right now.
Leong has TPs, has pressure up on the top side. So
And
a tough
Fudge
situation for Cloud9 right now.
going to step
Good
up,
job by Beyond
clear out
Gaming,
this wave.
multiple points in the
Try to
match.
save this turret, elongate its life.
pretty good in her 1v1, as long as
But a
you
little
don't
curious
get
about what wants to be done
attention.
here. So Blab's going to start up this dragon. They want this game to go later. They're trying to delay the soul point objective for Beyond Gaming.
That charge just happens. Ven is trying to defend.
There's going to be the dead
The tower, so it doesn't
Herald.
go
So
down just
still
yet.
a lot of good
But Beyond
damage
Gaming
onto a lot of
recommit to try and
turrets
take this
right now
tower
here.
down if they
Yeah,
want
it's
to,
about to
but
lose like their
Cloud9 at
whole
least
first
neutralize
line of
the
turrets here, and
for a
then
nice little exchange
this is
there.
actually getting very concerning for them. And here comes the flank out from Fudge here. Sofa's going to come through here, but Ezra's going to be blown up there. Going to be caught here, and Fudge have to run at him. The Everfrost goes there, but one's going to be able to teleport away from it. Doggo trying to fight away, but person's going to chase him down. It's going to come through. Olivia trying to get some stuff done, put people asleep here, but he'll be dead before they fall asleep. And that's going to be 2 dead on the side of Beyond Gaming. The flank from Fudge didn't catch on what the Unstoppable Force looked like, but did force the team to spurs and get away. Then the
Not the
only
cleanest
loss.
fight, as I'm sure you'll see in the replay, but still able to come out 2 for 1 for Cloud9 to get a little bit of pressure after.
Alrighty, well, back to pushing as a watch
Alright, let's
the
watch
replay.
this
It's the
again here.
X-Pac one, actually.
Yeah, so this was nice by Beyond that they started the fight. The TPs hadn't had time to come
Actually
through yet.
catches
Big splash there by
Doggo,
Doggo,
and
like
the
I
other
said. Good job by Moet getting out
other
of the hit.
teleport
First
in
miss,
front person.
both
He just
his,
flashes in, takes
gamblers
down
and his
Doggo. And at this point, the fight's kind of lost. There's not too much else that can be done here. Sleep does eventually get off and come through from the Yang, but it's just too late. Fight's already over, and we already get out teleported by the mid laner and top laner.
Not on top of the Malphite ultimate as well. Maybe he can kite that fight out a little bit more after the initial kill. So a bit lucky there for Cloud9 that it went as well as it did.
So
Because
very
Beyond's
lucky for Cena
initial
that worked out,
pickoff
especially
onto
with
Sven
Sven
was quite
dying
well
so early.
Yeah, it's funny, you know, on average,
And
probably got
I
the
guess
amount of
really
kills
good
they
takes
should've,
there.
but
Evens up the dragon score, so now I'm finally thinking about actually
both teams
testing
kind of making sure it ends up the same.
global objectives and make
One
sure the
thing I
Beyond
do
Gaming
wanna
aren't
point
getting
out on
away
Momo, though,
with
that I think is really
everything
important. People talk
in
about
the
the double
kitchen
vantage
sink.
toss giving you more CC, and that's
That's
apparent.
very good
But I think
and
the
awesome
thing
to
that
hear.
is also really important for all ins and just being a threat is
And
the
now
amount
a
of
little bit
damage
of a
that comes
fight
through
here.
if you
Kino,
go
I think
both
you're
out
caught out there, buddy.
getting engaged on.
Oh, this Abduct's gonna connect, and now he's gonna get caught out and blown up here. Big teleport's coming in here. Perk's got to run away here. Baron is spawning, and that could make this really dicey. And Leona's gonna get caught out here, so that's gonna be supports traded.
Losing track of TPs a little bit there. They had the double TP by Cloud9 in the
Little curious because
here Moab
they
was
did
already
have their
in that
TPs up. They
situation,
used them
onto his,
in the
and
last fight here, but now
sent a Mumu caught out of position.
both, well, at least looks like at least Moan's TP used
Does make it
for
1-1
that fight.
trade support.
Liang's used also in the last fight. So yeah, a little bit curious where they go for that fight. Don't expect much. And Fudge is gonna go in. He's gonna get the second uproot there from the Everfrost, and he's just gonna solo kill Doggo here right now. There, big thumbs up from the boy in the top lane. He may die for this. No, he has got flash available. He's gonna walk away. There's not much you can do to this guy. He's already started getting his Warden's Mail and his Frost item, so he's got his armor. Everfrost acquired. Got my follow-up stun, my extra spell, and now it's gonna be just a full armor item built here out of Fudge on this Malphite, and then he's gonna be able to basically chase down and 1v1 and kill this Misfortune probably in every team fight. It's not gonna get too much better for Misfortune. I believe Doggo may have just bought the LDR, but yeah, there is not much that's not gonna be able to be done there. At Frozen Heart finished off for Fudge, so plenty of mana, plenty of CDR, so more ultimates more often, and an incredible amount of armor on this tank here. There's nothing that Fudge should be afraid of at this time.
Earlier it was maybe 20 CS up for Leon. Now it's been even because Cloud9's got more map to fight.
All right.
But now I see 3 ADs and a Malphite.
Yep, 3 ADs and a Malphite is going to be a very, very hard situation. I feel like C9 have actually calculated that they're going to outscale BYG, or very happily playing this game later, playing this game slow, and just letting Sven scale up, letting this Malphite scale up, and just get an incredible amount of tankiness on him. He's already got the stopwatch, so he could be going for the Gargoyle Stone Plate next, which would put him as an insane amount of shielding and tankiness, and a little bit of MR to make sure Liang can't too easily solo kill him. But yeah, this is looking... It's getting a little scary here for BYG here. It's not that much of a goldie, not much to really mention here. 2 completed items versus 1.5 completed items. Looks like Liang also going for a Frozen Heart as well. Doggo going to put out his bullet time just to clear this wave here. Soulfire is going to come through, and he's going to cleanse it up. But Blabber's going to connect with the Sonar Wave. He's going to cue him in here, and Sven's going to finish off the kill here. Blabber's probably going to die for it. Gordringer getting a good amount of healing up, but he's going to die at the hands of the Graves here. Moan trying to finish it off here. Last Brett's going to come through and connect. That's going to be a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Beyond Gaming. And I don't think that's what needs to happen here. Teleport coming in from Fudge. Perks has already arrived, and I think they want to finish this fight here. Sven cutting out, but he's going to kill the Yone in his face here. Fudge now on a hunt for the other AD threat here. Husher getting pushed away here, having to put out the collateral damage just to get some space and time. Liang running around trying to get out, but he's going to have to run away from this as well. Perks on the chase here, trying to push this Lilia away here. And I think with that teleport play, they're out of C9. Oh, Perks is just chasing this man to the ends of the earth. He's just making sure this deer cannot get anything done here. And he flashes over the wall. Is Perks going to see this? He does. And the teleport comes through here. He teleports back to his base. But meanwhile, Fudge confirms the Drake. So getting that soul stack going. They've got themselves an infernal stack in their stats. So a little bit more damage for everyone. And a bit of that rejuve. Should do them pretty well here. More damage is always a good thing. More damage is always a good thing. So even though they actually did not come out on top of that fight there, enough time was delayed chasing down Liang that they were able to get that. So sometimes, guys, winning the entire fight on a basis of number of bodies dead or alive, not the most important call there.
Good force there from BYG to at least get that summoner spell.
Yeah, somewhere in the tail end of that as well, Cloud9 picked up the Infernal Drake, so continuing dragging.
Sven staying wise here. 4 mid, 5 mid. This is going to be a little scary here. I think BYG, they're just choosing to group up right now and just take this turret down. The brute force play here. BYG just to secure themselves a good turret.
On the map now, so
pretty close, pretty
wide
easy.
open summoners
Gold
for
lead,
both teams to start
not
making
too
plays.
out of the ball field yet. Just 3k advantage for Cloud9. This is not too bad here. We should actually see what the gold disparity is. It's likely greatest on the side of Perks and maybe on the side of Fudge. Oh, Fudge is actually on a good
Pages to rest. For now, they are going to have to just kind of chill out. Play for that next objective. Cloud9 have to wait for Drakes here, and also Baron definitely a threat for either of these teams. I think even this build of Malphite can pretty happily take Baron for a decent amount of time.
Fudge is kind of a slow burning assassin right now. Fight. There's no AD. Doggo and Ning's Husha. Right now, they're just playing. They're forcing BYG to come to them. Ultsar, will on at least Vulcan for the engage on this, and Fudge just gets to stand here right now. They've barely even gotten through his shield yet, and he's gonna stun them up. They cannot get past it. They cannot hurt him, and here comes the engage here. Unstoppable Force goes across. The bullet time is going to get a lot done here. 2 sleeps are going to come down here from Liang, but he's going to actually be able to try to finish off something. He's going to be able to catch Fudge. It's a good focus on there since there's no MR on this Malphite yet, but that's all Liang can do. 2 of his teammates are dead, and he is on the run from C9. They're going to let him go, but that's Baron over to C9 right now. And, oh, Vulcan also going on the hunt here. And they're just going to start taking these turrets here. Sven putting out very good damage on this, and oh, CC locked up, and his speed's gonna start going away here. He's trying to build it back up with the swirls, but Blabber is gonna be here, and he's gonna get caught here. Zenith Blade into the stun. It's gonna take a long time here. Bobby's gotta catch like one more Sonic Wave for this to count, and he nails it. Fantastic.
Is going to finally shut down that Lilia.
Finally finished off the Lilia. I think they also grabbed the mid-inner turret during that little dance that we were watching.
We never get to see what happens in these
There's always some objective dropping. Who cares? Watch the kills. I'm with you, observers. You're getting it right. Might be in a little bit of trouble. Does have
Fun
his,
call from Mark there.
hop over the wall there, so he's
Now they
fine.
gotta go back and
Anyways,
get
this
this
is
gold
the
actually.
play I was talking about.
They're looking at about a 3k
Fudge
advantage, but
just
let's look at this
walk
fight here.
through me.
So Fudge is just playing him and Vulcan are just
Enemy jungler makes
holding
it
this
possible
down
for
here.
sneak attack.
Versus side might be secured by Perks, and this is going to be huge damage here. The bullet time comes over and gets Perks down pretty low, but he's going to Kingslayer onto Moan, and Moan doesn't catch anyone with that ultimate. I think he actually just missed everyone on that one. And that's just the fight. There's not much else that really happened there. Fudge and Vulcan just playing defense, not letting anyone in. Fudge is getting so tanky, you're like, no one can move him. It is very, very scary to have a Malphite that can jump on your floor. And he's also got the Zanyas in place, so he can buy a lot of time steel caps and Frozen Heart with the Everfrost. He is quite tanky, quite ahead of the curve here. Perk's gonna dodge out of the last attack or I can't remember the name of that. Last breath I think is Yasuo's ultimate. But that's gonna be a very good trade for them. Inhibitor down here while dressed to kill on a dead Perks, which is perfectly fine.
Can we get a preview replay for that?
So big pressure going to be there. 3,000 gold advantage acquired. Only 30 seconds left on this Baron. So probably going to be just backing, spending their gold that they got, getting those 2 towers bot side. And they're sitting at 5k gold either for C9. It's still, it may not be enough to actually have them just outstat and just throw the wall at them. Not at that phase yet. This is not a big enough gold lead for that to happen. But there's something about how much gold is on this Malphite that just makes this game seem and feel like it's just unwinnable. This Fudge is only going to die by the hands of Liang. There's no damage that's going to come out of Doggo and Huship to really nail this guy down, or the same for Moan. And there's some part where Moan actually needs to start getting some work done on the Sione, but I just don't think there's any easy targets for him to go for. Perks is going to be with some mobility and is perfectly happy to duel him, and he's, you know, a bit ahead, 50, like a good, what is that, 40 CS ahead, and a little ahead on kills, not to mention whatever gold is coming from all the ambient and just global gold. There's no killing Fudge. Blabber shouldn't even be near him, and if anything, it can kick him away. And then Sven also playing super safe, also has a frozen heart on him, so they're all of the AD on the side of BYG is just being countered by this big tank that can blow up and kill your carries, and also on just the damage improving but also tanky build that's coming onto this Ezreal. So there's kind of a really hard time for BYG to probably get any more kills in this game. We're 15-9 right now on the kill score, and I just don't see where BYG are going to get anything more than maybe 2 more kills by the end of this game here. And all the and now their jungle is just their jungle has been taken over by C9 here. Swirlsuit's not going to connect here, but I think BYG are looking for a fight here. Not sure if they want it. There's 4 members of C9 here. They're going to go in here. Swirlsuit's going to actually miss.
But now the ulti is his again as Perks has once again stolen Curse of the Sad Mummy, and Fudge is in there. Blabber's in there first though. It's going to pop the Zonias. Fudge looking for it. Sven going to get the pick off. That's a great Yoni ulti to try and get it back. And indeed they get the kill. It's Fudge now low but not dead.
Super low here. Gonna have to ult himself out here, but Perks decides to go in and try to keep right up there.
Absolutely insane under the enemy tier 2. Look for the second can't grab it. And now Vulcan going into stasis. I think
that's what's spent, and he's gonna die to the hands of Doggo.
And Beyond the Gaming
Very
will
big
make them pay
overreach
for
on.
it.
Nice 3 for 2 there for Beyond Gaming. Kino looking for the opportunity on the top side. I actually like this timing a lot, as you know, they are losing a little bit of their base, but
a Nexus turret, so
Nexus turret,
not a lot of gold actually.
As we see, Cloud9 actually not packing
Fudge
off that
and
top lane situation.
actually
Still
put
trying to
pressure
finish off this turret, knowing the amount of
down.
pressure that's in the base.
Long time
Think
before
that they
Perks
can,
is back up, and he's the
grab a
only one
little
with the
bit more
teleport.
turret
So
gold with the
I think they're
fact
gonna have to
that
just
Beyond
call
had
this one
recall and
done.
deal with that
Clear out
Nexus
these
turret.
wards.
But I did like that
reset.
attempt. There's a lot of time
Get some-
for
get
your
more
ults
items
to
and
come
go
back up
from
before the next dragon
there.
that you need to fight. Baron's in only 30 seconds,
I
so
think
maybe that's more of a concern. But this is an opportunity where, Cloud9's grouped up in a lane. You try and force the fight. Doesn't actually go that well, but, Cloud9 then need to
Swirlsuit
punish,
comes in,
make
it's actually
something
on
of it. And they see Kino
goes
loves. They
in.
want to go in for the
Goes
move to finish him
golden.
off, but there's still a lot of
But
bolts on
the
the
end,
rest of the
Figure
team.
trying
Want
to
to
poke
CC
around the
available, so
center.
they kind of start stun lock people underneath the turret. They have to, get Fudge out of there. Blabber dying early. Perks goes in to start finishing off some low people, but again, starts getting CC'd up under the turret. Has to burn his stopwatch, gets finished off there. Vulcan then trapped under the turret as well. So, they kept baiting Cloud9 to jump on top of them. Not happy. Doesn't look too thrilled about that one.
Yeah.
Did not want to lose those stacks. I bet. Nothing on that mage eyes now.
He's out. Lost the last page he had. I think he saw the 10
Go
seconds coming
before
back
they
in.
want to
Fudge
kill
saw-
this. Oh, that Amumu had no prayer. You have put him in the team early, and this damage coming out from the line is actually doing work here. Vulcan's gonna have to leave.
Trying to play
Game is
defense, but Beyond
close range.
Gaming
Only
fighting
Dar-
back here. Cloud9
Hitting
have to be a
Angel.
little more
Proc.
cautious in these choke points.
Yeah, Doggo really punishing that engage. Doesn't actually get a kill, but drops multiple members super low. Forces the Guardian Angel off of Blabber there. So, able to kind of withstand that engage. They did blow up Kino, and C9 want to transfer it into a Baron. We'll see if Beyond can actually contest this one.
You can kind of see why Cloud9 are willing to throw caution to the wind though, right? They've got pressure in the bottom side from the top play. They can play aggressively here, keep the minions pushing and take Baron. So it's not, reckless engaging that Cloud9 are entertaining, but they are going in very frequently.
No, this is exactly what you want to see. I don't want to make this sound like a criticism of the Cloud9 game plan. You have so many engage tools.
Second Baron
You have
over
so
to
many opportunities. You
9.
have the map state
Now,
in your favor, so that even if an
7K
engage like
gold
that
ahead,
doesn't go 100% your way, you still get the kill. You
got
still
that
have
right.
the map to pressure in the bot lane. You can grab the Baron
Okay,
on the
gold.
back
Okay,
end of it.
6.
So this is what you want to see. You don't want to see,
Pretty good.
oh, we only take
This is gonna
90%
be the Baron
plays.
that they
Go for the
use
60-40
to
like
break
that,
the base.
and actually
Bit
make
of the
some
time
plays
of it's
happen
going to
and
be
keep the
spent off waiting for this
gas
break
down.
to come up, so they're only going to have a minute and 30
Staying
once they
proactive.
acquire
Beyond
this
Gaming,
Inferno
though,
Soul.
slipping further and further
you
out of
know,
reach for this game. Cloud9
push
up
this
with the
Baron
Soul
buff,
point
keep
now. They're up
Baron
6k.
keeps
They've got a
pushing
second
some
Baron
inhibs
on
down.
the table. And already the bottom side of the rift
by
was
that.
pretty battered by
BYG
Cloud9's
have
last
not been
siege.
shy about actually
Then
going
he
for
was
these
back, though,
fights.
thankfully for
Really
them, but
contested.
Fudge is once again
Watch out.
asking to ult your teammates. As Vulcan does find the engage, Everfrost follows. Kino loses the ulti again. Blabber maybe trying to
Trying to
bait
get
out
his
the
kill
ulti, but
onto the
doesn't
move
find
before
it,
he can
finds
actually get his
another
ult off.
Kino, kicks him to death. And Cloud9 now in a 5v4 as Blabber finishes
Just
that
as
off.
a side
Yeah, Kino was just stuck in the state of, well, I
action.
don't have a good target to go
Kino
in on,
not
but I don't
able
want to
to
blow my ult
keep himself
defensively
open.
because then I won't be able to contest the soul
Basically
point.
like
And
nullifying
he
what
just
could
holds
be
it
the
on until
biggest
it's too late.
engage
Cloud9
points
focuses him down.
for
Kill him
BYG.
as the
There's not
primary
much else
engager for
engage
Beyond
outside of
Gaming. Once
Kino.
you take him out,
So
it's a
if he
lot harder
goes
for them
down,
to find an
the next
opportunity.
best thing
And now this might be a free
Fine,
soul.
it's
We'll see if
open.
they want to contest 4v5 or if they're going to keep
it's
Moin
not
on top side.
getting
Doesn't have TP, so it looks like they're just sacking it.
Yeah, gonna go ahead, have to give that Infernal Soul over again. Your move is on up for 10 seconds, not a lot you can really do. Perks actually the
Engage
best to move it on the rift so
on the
far.
side of
He's looking to line
BYG.
up
We're
another
just saying no,
ulti
you don't
once
get to
again.
engage.
Fudge
You don't get to
also
engage on your turn.
could
We're
combine
gonna kill this
for a
guy,
very
and
classic
you're just gonna have to figure out how
season
to
one
win the
Haven't
game
seen
another
anything
way, or
like
just
that.
watch us
Definitely
kill your
plenty
base
more
here.
potential there as Cloud9 will finish off
And
that.
level disparity is
Inhibitor,
actually quite
they're
huge.
gonna
You're 2
retake
levels
mid here as
for
well, crack that
Perks.
finally, and
Juan's
take
now
down
finally
second
evened up
inhib
here.
here.
Bofa is
And
gonna
maybe just
tag
walking in.
Liang.
Kino's back, but I'm
Vulcan,
not sure it
just a
matters.
few of these solo players. Gonna need you to tighten her up there, buddy.
So they still about like
Trying to win a game here.
15-second time before he can go in here.
And again,
And
still
now with
holding
this
on to this.
Inferno Drake
Fudge,
and these
level
Baroned
18,
up
Perks
minions,
level
they've got a
18.
minute to actually
Ready
finish this
with
off
some
here.
big
Fudge
ticket
looking
ultimates
for the
here.
pick
Only
here.
one
It's
extra
gonna get a
Nexus
little bit
turret to
damage
get
down to
through as
Moan.
well.
And Moan,
Time
solo
left on
unbound's
the
gonna go
ground,
through
45
trying to
seconds.
clean up
There's a long
this
siege for Beyond
wave,
Gaming
but
to go
Kino's gonna get locked in and shot in by Blabber. And they're gonna go through. Bullet time's coming through, getting a lot of damage out. Vulcan's gonna go down here, but I think the rest of this fight can go. Perks goes golden, but he is super low. He's gonna have to get something done here, but he's gonna do double kill over to Husha. C9 trying to end the game here, but not able to get these dives off under the Nexus towers properly. Not able to execute. BYG putting up a good fight here, holding strong. They don't have much left here. I think they have one more turret left for their Nexus set. And C9 just trying to play it a little bit faster, try and actually win a little bit quicker, but we're at the point in the game, we're actually at the point in this tournament. We might actually have an Elder Drake as a necessary win condition to win this game here. But it should be, it's running out of advantage here for Cloud9. They're at near 70k, and we're getting to the late part of the game here where item slots are getting filled out and getting finished up. Great push in here by Blabber. Gets a huge chunk on him from Doggo, but shoves Kino and kicks him out. The bullet time from Husha actually ends up melting through Vulcan. Perks also put into danger. Bud's trying to walk away, but also still getting damaged out here. His mixed build losing some of his potency for tanking. He's got himself energized actually, so Fudge trying to actually run that AP nuclear rock build there from ARAM. Respect. Teleport coming in from Perks here, just trying to move longer. Trying to catch Liang, but I don't think they'll be able to get much done here, so optimistic TP there. So he's gonna go on to Ezreal. He's gonna cleanse it out, so actually that was a Quicksilver. Alright, nice. So Sven, Quicksilver sash on his Mercurial Scimitar, and as well as a cleanse. So there is a part of this game where Sven should not die and should not have any issues or any comments about CC here. Perk's going to get caught out here, and it's going to use Moan's ult to actually turn back onto him, and it's going to go really rough there. Hourglass is going to be popped here. Perk's trying to go away. He's going to go back in here and blow up Moan. Now it's just down to Liang. He's got to kite this one out here. Oh, but the Grievous Wounds is going to go away here, and Perks is now just going to jump on. The Kingslayer just proccing over and over, and Perks is going to end this fight with more health than he started here. Fudge going in and out here. Has to go golden here. Bullet time put out, but it's only going to just tickle Vulcan before he gets away here. And now C9 just running this over, diving the fountain. That's going to be the game. Took him a while. Had to end a few ones, but they're going to win it. And keeping themselves alive and very healthy in this play-ins. So 2-0 for C9. See you in the next game.